Hotep Senu, Hena Senut, E.T., Ren Ishakandugu Kemet. Hope everybody's doing well. We have Nestle Mirat in the place to be. Oh, it reminds me that I forgot to. This is Nestle Mirat. Ça passe mon cher. Qui j'en ai aujourd'hui. So there is one thing. It's reminding me now. So was a solution. So I think it's copied now. And I will do that in about seconds or so. Let's go here. And let's pin this. Let's check now. That's great. Nestle Mirat says he's doing good. That's beautiful. So on the screen you can see the beautiful language called hieroglyphic in English, which derives from Greek, as we know. But the inhabitants of the Nile Valley called it Medu Necher. And first you have Ren-I, which stands for my name. Then you have some uniliterals used to spell out my name phonetically. I'm not saying that the name Shaka is found on the glyphs, but phonetically, that's one way to write it. And at the end, we have Kemet, a short way to write it, because some words can be written differently. So you can see Kemet written with the owl, but the owl is merely a phonetic complement, because the sound M is already in the glyph before last, which is either some crocodile skin or a piece of charcoal. Diop was rather of the opinion that it's a piece of charcoal, because it's the glyph that stands for Kem, and Kem is the root word for Kemet, and Kem is the word that means black. Nestle Mirat says, I would love to call. I have so much to talk about, but until I fix my internet issues, law. Well, give it a try. We never know. Maybe it will work better. You know, just give it a try. And for everybody who wants to call in, the link is already there, but for the record, call in link. Shared it again. Do you have any questions about the Medunetia or about Kemet or about any other thing? Feel free. Feel free. If only you knew how precise the grammar is. The determinatives help us to have some words confused because you have homonyms and the determinative will save you. Will save you or will help you to avoid confusing two words that sound alike, but that do not have the same meaning. For the record, when I start, I usually say Hotep Senu, Hena Senut, Et, Ren-I, Shakandugu Kemet. So now you know what that stands for, this latest part. Senu is the plural of brother. Senu is the plural of brother. Senut is the plural of sisters. Of sister, sorry. Hena means and it also means with. So that lets you know what Hotep Senu Hena Senut means. Et means welcome. I was I was thinking at first about going through some names of Nesut or pharaohs and doing a little breakdown in terms of meaning or just merely translate the names. But then I figured maybe not. I'd rather people ask. So Nestle Merat has joined us. What's up, brother? All right. I don't hear any sound. Oh, now I hear some sound. Brother? Oh, okay. I hear some noise, but I don't hear your voice.
Oh yeah, I was just trying to get set up, man.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
okay. Okay, now I can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
How
sure,
you doing,
man.
brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Nice to have me on board here, man. It's always a pleasure. Um, I
Likewise.
usually miss a lot of your lives, but I'm starting to catch up a lot more now. I'm excited about that, and you'll be discussing some very interesting topics that worthwhile about discussing, which is pretty good. And you're doing it a little bit more frequently, which is good too, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Es como
So,
família aí, man.
oh, toute famille bon. Toute famille bon. Nous gagnons la santé, nous en
Okay.
forme. C'est ça qui est plus important avec période
Yeah.
Covid ça.
Oui, c'est vrai, c'est vrai. Oui.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have a question about the whole system here that you're presenting.
Mhm.
Um, how much of the meta nature is really available to us? Is it in full? Have we have all that it takes to really use it as something modern?
Well, to use it as something modern, it is possible. It is possible. I mean, we use slang, and that's not really a language per se. Um,
Yeah,
in order to use it in modern term, well, we will need enough people to speak it.
right, right.
Um, and I'm not saying that this is something that we need to do or that we must do.
No,
But if people want to, yes, they can. They can indeed. Um, the 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 main thing the main use of knowing the Medu Neter is to be able to know the history, the culture
Yeah.
of Kemet,
Hmm.
without having to rely on whoever's translation or interpretation. As a matter of fact, the day before yesterday, we were kind of amused of seeing how they translate the word Nehisi, Tanehisi, or Nehisiu, how they translate that with Negro, when
Oh
really
wow.
it might be more appropriate to translate that with the word Nubian, for example. But
Hmm.
this is a bit, this is like one example. Um, but it's nice to be able to know what the text says. So there's another example where a brother was mentioning something about um I can't remember if he mentioned like a pedophilia or not what was it again? The brother was saying something, and I asked him if there was any reference, and when he sent me the reference, it was actually a word that meant offspring or children, you see. But it
Hmm.
escapes me what he was saying, the alleged meaning of that word was. But personally, with the people, while I'm having the class, of course, I try to speak Medu as much as possible. I mean, Medu Necher.
Right.
And even with the people, sometimes when I go live streaming, well, the day before yesterday, I was reading the text, and I would tell them, okay, that here, most likely on the text, that's the word, and at least I
Mm-hmm.
do. I start with the greetings, and every now and then I tell people a few words, or sometimes when it's something that sounds similar. I was giving example in the Arabic. You have wahid, which means one,
Hmm.
and in Medu Necher you have wa, and there was a term wati semer, and wati means the unique or the
Hmm.
soul, and semer means companion or friend, and or let's say companion. In Arabic, you have Samir, and Samir means friend or companion. So
Hmm.
when I saw Wati Semer, meaning the unique companion or soul companion, then it made me think about the Arabic. And once again, I'm not claiming that those Arabic words derive from the Middle nature, but I just saw some similarity. I actually have an article about that, but I'm waiting to have a bit more examples before I make it appear on the template of the website. But
Okay,
I,
awesome.
yes, but I try every now and then to put a few words here and there of Ahmed Necher, you see. And
Okay,
with
awesome.
with the Hebrew, there was a great reconstruction effort made. So this is something that we could do as a people, but it's up to us as a collective.
Yeah, because the reason that's the main reason why I even brought it up, because it reminds me of Hebrew that was almost done for, and it was brought back basically. So, and that's exactly what I was thinking about. But then, yeah, it'll be that's something that would be as a collective, as a want, as a collective. So if it's just me and probably some other guy somewhere around the world who probably think about the same thing, or probably wonder about it, but not necessarily say, well, I wonder if we could actually construct this and make this, usable again. But the chances of that is slim, but it would have been really interesting, and that's exactly what I was thinking about. That's why I brought it up,
Mm,
because since all of the hieroglyphs is there, and we're starting to decipher the meanings, and or we have majority of the meanings of them, or um but speaking about that, one thing that I want to go ahead and touch on too is you have this is the common hieroglyph, but if I could remember, I think there's also a writing, a hand cursive writing as well, if I do remember.
yes, indeed, there is.
So So
Yes,
what
and
what do you know about that? How much do you know about the cursive writing and format?
well, just to so that it can be a bit clearer for people, I will show them the different type of writing. So, um, just looking for oh, there it is. So I will share this. Oh, well, never mind. It's okay. Just a few more seconds.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not very large on the screen, maybe, but at
Yeah,
the
I can
top.
see it.
Okay, that's great. So pointer, and I'll put red. So this here, that's the classical Medunecher or
Mm-hmm.
Medunecher, period.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the cursive hieroglyph, and many times we
Mm-hmm.
see the cursive hieroglyph on papyri. For example,
You're right.
the so-called Book of the Dead, which really is the Peret Emheru, and the most
Mm-hmm.
famous being the one of Ani, located in the British Museum, London, England. It was found intact, and it's probably why it's one of the reasons why it's the most famous. And there we have the Hariatic, which is really an abbreviated version of the Medunecher.
Mm-hmm.
And after that we have the Demotic, which is at the bottom. So
Mm-hmm.
myself, I am not familiar with Hariatic and Demotic. It's I'm
Okay.
not familiar with it.
Okay.
I might recognize well, I could recognize a few glyphs written in Hariatic, because once again it's like an abbreviated form, but I wouldn't know most. I wouldn't be able to recognize most of the signs in Hariatic form. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, because it's an area that doesn't get too much focus, and since I know you did you're doing a lot of your study into the background of this, so I thought maybe you have some knowledge about it. So okay, all right,
Mm.
interesting.
Mm.
Yeah. So but is the current hieroglyph that you're showing now, is that Medunetia that you're currently studying in now, is that is that would be equivalent to the cursive writing, or is it more important?
Well, actually, it's all the same language.
Okay.
Um, here we here we really have three scripts.
Hmm.
Um, this you could think of this like I'm typing or writing A like this, or
Hmm.
and this is like I'm writing. I mean, I'm using the cursor, so I cannot draw very
Yeah,
well,
do it
but
as good.
it's like, yeah, it's like I'm doing the A like this. So
Okay, okay,
that's why you can
okay.
think of this as one script, and
Yeah,
those are two different scripts. So, but however, this is all the same language.
yeah.
This is a Meta Nature.
Oh,
You
okay.
see,
All right.
just
Awesome,
like
awesome, awesome.
in Iran, they have a language called Farsi, and it is written with the Arabic script, but it's not the
Hmm.
Arabic language. You see.
Oh,
Yes.
interesting.
And I think that I spoke to a lady from Turkey, and I don't want to make a mistake, but I think she told me that during the Ottoman Empire, the language was written with Arabic letters, but I'm not really sure, so I'll have to double check if it's definitely the Arabic script or if it was some script inspired by the Arabic. But all this to say that you can write a language with another script, because in language at the end of the day is what
Hmm.
you speak, and the glyphs they have phonetic values. So all of this indeed is the Meta Nature with three different
Okay,
scripts. Mhm.
okay, okay. Just same writing system with just a variation of forms. Okay. All right.
Same
Awesome.
language with different writing
Yeah.
systems.
We had different writing system. Right. Right.
Mm.
Right. Just like every other modern day or anything other language. All
Mm.
right. Very awesome. And so, another area that I wanted to pull up to you on is, I know it's not too much of your focus area, and I don't know how you feel or connect with um, African spirituality and in general, or where do you stand on that? So I wanna I like to know.
Oh, just African spirituality in general.
Yeah, like where do you stand from with African spirituality? Like how much do you know, and where do you stand
Mm.
on that?
Mm. Well, in a sense, there's a lot of similarity. Um, there's usually several deities, and it's
Hmm.
a big problem for Abrahamic believers
Hmm.
or people who used to be Abrahamic and who want to get into the African spirituality because for most of our lives as former Abrahamic believers, we feel like when there is more than one deity, then it's bad and it's wrong, it's heathen, it's pagan, and so on.
Yeah.
But we're not the only one because when we look at, for example, Hinduism, they have several deities, but people leave them alone because they are so numerous. So they have
Hmm.
a bit more power as a collective, but ourselves, we are so few. So a lot of time people will kind of talk down on us for having several deities. And then
Yeah.
we have some people who are into the African spirituality and they're trying to rationalize the several deities by saying that the several deities are just part of the main god or the main deity. But I do not see it the same way. I do not see it the
Hmm.
same way. So several deities and the ancestors is something very I would say something that
Tricky.
well, something that the different African spirituality have in common.
Okay.
So there's the entity of the deities and also the ancestors. The
Yes.
world like somehow of an invisible world. So that's why there's reverence for the ones who are there before us. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who claim to have gifts and powers, but it's very dubious. It's just very, I don't know about that. I think so. Unfortunately, some people take advantage. Some people take advantage, but it's not
Oh,
exclusive to the African spirituality. So,
okay.
to make the long story short, we have voodoo that we can find in Haiti and other parts of the Caribbeans, and
I'm
even
smiling
in
right now.
yes, even in places like Louisiana, you know.
Yeah.
And so in South America, uh, some people they mention hoodoo. Some people talk about Santeria. But throughout Africa, uh, Benin, Togo, what's the other country as well where it's big? Um, I forgot there was another country or so. Um, it's live in kicking, but we still have it in African countries where the majority of people are Muslim, but they kind of have some
Yeah.
syncretism. And two countries
Yeah.
are very, very popular for that. Well, probably
Mhm.
Senegal is ahead, but in Mali as
Yeah.
well, they have them.
Right.
So some of them they even distribute cards. I mean, they used to be back then. They kind of not doing it anymore now, but they used to leave their little card or advertisement through letterbox, and they claim
Mhm.
to be able to help with love, with money, with work, and so on, and even
Uh,
illnesses and stuff like that. But those are Muslims. So when they will go to the to the mosque, with their fellow Muslims of different nationalities, they would not really, you know, dwell on that. But if they're amongst
Yeah,
only the people from the Senegalese and the people from Mali, then it's like it's kind of part of the culture. It's the same in a country like Guinea. Guinea Conakry, because there's a few
yeah.
Guinea. There's three Guinea. There's Equatorial Guinea, there's Guinea Bissau, and there's Guinea Conakry. And in Guinea Conakry, it's very it's practiced a fair bit. It's practiced quite a lot actually. And water is usually not far away because there is a libation, and this is also one of the common traits of the African spirituality. Now, depending on the countries, they have
Mhm.
different pantheon, different
Yes,
deities
indeed.
and hierarchy. Sometimes we can kind of see some similarities, but they will not be exactly the same. But overall, yes, that would be a brief overview, not that I would give. There's quite a fair bit, sure, quite a fair bit of similarities.
Okay. Yeah, because me I think I mentioned this to you before, as a as a voodooist myself.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so I understand exactly what you're saying, and when I do my research and do the comparison with the various different ethnic groups and cultures that I could find that has this form of belief, it stays consistent in a lot of way. Even going back to even I could even tie um, the traditional voodoo or some of the gods. Even I could go back far as to say Egypt. Some of the deities I could tie them there and even bring them back to modern time, which I thought was very interesting. And I took a few of those and I ran them across a few places, such as like you say, you know, run across with Europe because you know a lot of the slaves that come from the West Coast, the Igbo and Yoruba and people from Dahomey and so on. When I run back and do some research, I see a lot of similarities, a lot of ties to them, but um, variations a lot different. Even with the voodoo that is established in Haiti, it is completely different from the one established or still practiced in various different regions and those countries, even in Africa today. Um, you know, so I understand where you're coming from with that. So now I just wanted to see what your view were on the spirituality because that is the area that wasn't that does it doesn't speak too much on, and I just was asking about it. All right, awesome.
Yeah, yes, and then um, well, usually during rituals, um, you have some foods used. Uh, Alcohol can be used, or
Yeah,
coffee could be used. Candles and incense could be used, and those are the kind of the thing that
the
can.
standard. Yeah,
Yes, yes, you see, and there's some variation, but more or less.
yeah,
Uh,
pretty simple
yes,
stuff.
yes,
Like such as using a white cup, white candles, candles in
yes,
general,
yes. There
uh,
can be different, yes,
glass,
different type of material. Yes.
a glass cup,
Hmm.
uh, sleeping in full white, house full white, abstinence, practice abstinence, cleanliness, cleansing houses and stuff like that.
Hmm.
You know, various different rituals and stuff that
Hmm.
practice. you either receive by dream your ancestors to come and speak with you.
Hmm.
I can have a grandparent, like I can connect the past and may have knowledge and things that I may wanted to know. There is rituals that I can do. I can go to sleep, and by dream I can have a conversation with those ancestors, which we call traverser.
Traversé,
You know, and
cross.
so we don't call we don't in voodoo we don't use the word people die or they're dead. We say
Mm,
crossover.
yeah.
You know, because we know we always have a link into communication between them, and this is the reason why people always say, "Well, why are you always talking about ancestors and ancestors?" Is because we always talk about ancestors because we honor them and we always pay respect for what they have done to pave the way for where you are now, and this is why we always revere and honor their memories and in voodoo and voodoo practices, we have conversed with them by dreams, by various rituals that we do to communicate with them. Okay, to gain either past wisdom, knowledge, whatever they may have died with, and we didn't get to know about. Like in Haiti, for example, if you have like a habitation is where each African slave family would have settled on a property where they would have a home, and there probably may have been several homes there. And given the regions or the country where they're from in Africa, then they would and then um, place certain shrines and certain trees and things that are correlated with the spirits where they're from in that region, in order to have them there to communicate with them and do rituals to them, ceremony, which could be the voodoo ceremony like dance or the what we call gombo in Haiti. Yeah. So that would be done in that particular place. You know, offerings would be given to the spirits and let more, meaning to those that died, all the past generation of your family would be the first to welcome, and then we would go to what's called Legba. You know, Legba is the spirit or the deity that is the gatekeeper, the mediator between man and spirit.
Papa Legba.
Right, we would communicate with Legba to announce and call the deities to come forward to the ceremony. Um,
Mhm.
so those are some.
I would like to ask you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but do you know the
Go ahead.
reason why there's a mention of Guinea?
Yeah. So Guinea, right? We I believe that there's various ways to describe that, but we know Guinea. When it's said in Voodoo, Guinea is like a word that can be used um in so many ways. So and in the Haitian Voodoo pantheon, we have the Guinea spirits that we usually say Guinea, right? They're the they're the they're the more calm, relaxed spirit. So we have each spirit would have like two sides, duality, right? They would have a more aggressive side and they would have a more calm side. So the more calm demeanor spirit would be with those class of spirits would be called the Guinea most of the time. And at the time too, they would Africa in general would be referred to as Guinea. And
Mm.
then also as well, the word Guinea also refers to um, a world that exists beyond this world that when the slave usually used to say, you know, I don't mind dying because if I die, I would go to Guinea. You know,
Mm.
I would go to that special place where all my ancestors who died cross over to. I'll be going to that place. So it's almost like a mirrored place of Africa in the heavens. You understand? So
Mm.
that's what would refer to as Guinea. Okay,
Mm.
yeah. I don't want
And
to.
no, no, no.
Yeah,
That's interesting. That's interesting. Voodoo scares a lot of people.
yeah, man, scares the hell out of a lot of people, and that's been part of the conditioning. That's been part of the conditioning to have you scared of the very thing that is the very your very own thing that
Your
you
essence,
you have,
your
your
culture, your
very
practice.
essence.
Yes.
Yeah. So they twisted against you and they told you, listen, man, everything that was for you, they told you get rid of that. They told you get rid of your name, get rid of your philosophy. They re-educate you and they train you to rethink in their way, in their systems, to do things their way. So they're fine tuning you and making you into their product. And usually, for example, I look at people. I don't know, probably because I'm Caribbean, but I usually look at people that live in the so-called first world countries, such as America, Canada, and I'm looking at those generation of blacks. And when they act a certain way towards Caribbean people, it's usually people coming from the Caribbean, say Jamaica, Haiti, and the Bahamas. They go to the States and they go to Canada or visit certain places where is the dominant white white countries such as those that had slavery, the reconditioning of other black people. There usually be a reef between those black people there, between the Caribbean people that you're usually considered to be improper or considered uncivilized in a way because the way you either talk or the way you dress, because those properties or those elements that were commonly back then uh, by most black people is still probably kept and still kept alive in most places, such as Haiti, mostly in Haiti, and because that's like the most purest place that is outside of Africa outside. So you usually be looked at and be like, you're uneducated, and we're more educated than you. We're better than you, and stuff like that. And is a condition to think like that, to think that you're better, to think that you're different. And but it's sad. But then I usually call these people, they're the product, they're the fine product of the system. This is exactly how the system want them to be. To think like this, to see themselves that way, and to think the way they think, and they're the perfect product of the system.
And I wanted to show something because what you said reminded me of what is it? It's a picture. Well, that sums it all as far as I'm concerned. Is there now there and I've made this years back and I posted
Oh,
it
that's
on
very
Facebook.
interesting, man. That's very interesting.
And
That is very interesting.
we,
And
we
that and
have
that right there,
mm,
and that is older, and that is far more ageless and older than anything that this guy who well dressed here, this little fella here, this priest here, what she's doing is far more older.
yes,
Very interesting.
but we've been programmed so much. This guy has his traditional clothes. This lady has a traditional clothes. He has fire. He has candles. She has also a fire. Now maybe the candles are not visible, but we can see the matches there. And usually we have the
Yes.
candles as well. He has the liquor, which will be wine. We have the liquor, which will be more like um, um, uh, the word escapes me. Rum, rum.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, and then the question is, why would the left one be better than the right one? And it's a wordplay when I say right one, you know. And then at the bottom, why would the newest be better than the oldest? So this is acceptable. This is fine. This is great.
Yeah,
But this here,
to the right,
negative.
no,
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 no, no,
don't do that. Don't do that, man. That's devil worshiping and all that stuff. Don't
yes.
do that. Don't do that. And I'll go as far as back. This may sound arrogant, and some people may be like, you're spewing pure blah blah nonsense. But um, as as it's as and into the beginning of African our earliest, in order for us to learn the things that we learn and know the things that we know, it is it is it first was introduced, the knowledge that African has, even up to Egypt, and majority of anything that you see African does, it started with the spirits or the lois of the Guineas coming by dream and giving you formulas to do certain things. And then we would then in turns we would do these at our earliest stage. A lot of things that we created and expanded on, and the way of thinking was first introduced by them through our dreams. Even medicine, because when you're looking at the most powerful set of medicine, like the traditional and then modern medicine, you know, they tell you, say, man, don't mess with the bushman. They call you bushman. Don't take none of this stuff. Go to the pharmacy and buy that pill. Take three of those daily. Don't take the fay or the makaya, which it means a fay again. Don't take the makaya. Don't take none of that stuff. You know, and look at now. Black people has been more sick with diabetes and cancers and all of that nonsense now with the modern medicine, and they told us to leave our traditional medicine alone again. And in voodoo we have some classes of spirits that deals with medicine. You probably heard of Sembi, right? Have
No,
you ever heard of Sembi?
no.
Sembi. Sembi, they're a family of spirit in voodoo who would teach medicine. I would teach you about different leaves, how to combine them together to create different medicines to give to patients, those that are priested or gifted with that. And another thing too that I want to clear up on in voodoo, because people think it's a very unorganized thing, but in voodoo you have the doctors, the people that does the healing. You have various different areas in it, and different spirits would give different expertise to different people. Okay, and that's what the Sambis does. They have specific people that does healing, and they would deal with those specific people. They would give them formulas with leaves, how to mix the makai together, and to do certain stuff with it, and stuff like that. So it's a organized thing, but to the outside and to the unknown, it seems like these people are just crazy that does these things, and it's all because of lack of education, and the system that people was brought up in. It's sad.
Indeed, indeed. I mean, um, there are some treatment with modern medicine and it can indeed give you cancer. They say it
Yeah.
outright. And one example is chemotherapy.
Oh
Now,
man, that stuff is crazy.
you even have food. Um, oh, red meat. In French, we call it charcuterie.
Mhm.
But the red meat, the world, what is it called? Organisation Mondiale de la Santé. Is it World Health Organization? I think.
Organization. Yeah, when you said
Yes.
that, yeah.
Yes. They were saying that indeed, the red meat can give you cancer. So there was a knowledge throughout Africa of leaves of plants, and that's the best thing because when they make medicine, I mean they'll I don't know why, but they love to go the synthetic route. You know, they want to
Yes,
be
that's the
uh,
problem.
yes.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's the synthetic thing, and then the synthetic thing is the thing that's gonna give you these crazy side effects. It's like I'm healing one thing, but then I'm causing another thing to myself. It's like it's crazy. Let's look at for example, a place like Haiti, man, barely has any hospitals, but yet have people living for a long period of time, man. I remember one time I was in my mom from Shanghai, right? And my dad is from a small key off the coast of the mainland that's called La Tortue, right?
Hmm.
I spent about 6 years living in Haiti, and I live in Jean I live between Jean and Port-au-Père, and I live to the countryside. That's where my mom from, and I remember living there, and all we ate was really greens. Just plant all the things that we plant. The thing we was eating there, and I remember this lady. She died about 128 around that time when I was living down there. And when she died, she was never sick. She was still moving around. People just expired when the time comes for they expired regardless. So, but I'm saying this because she was 128. She was still going out. She was still herding goats and sheeps and stuff like that. She was still going to the river to fetch water, and she died 128. Man, people live that long there, and it's not much hospital there. People are not taking vaccine. Oh, you must take vaccine. You must this. You must that. People are not doing any of that stuff, and people living long, and people are not getting these cancers, these weird things this weird sickness that you hear in the so-called first world countries. They're not getting these type of sickness. They doesn't even have that much hospitals,
Mm.
and so if they doesn't have that much hospitals, and then you're saying, oh, the hospital is good, vaccine is good, you must get your kids vaccinated, and in order to go to school you got to get vaccine and all of that stuff. But these kids, man, they what they getting sick from? Just if they have cold or whatever, they just take some bush, man. We got some saucy, or what we call it in Haiti, man, some saucy, man, wet
Sorcerers.
saucy.
Yeah.
Oui. Yeah,
Mm.
man. And you good and some other stuff. The old people, they know what to put together to get you up and going quick, man. Drop that fever quick. So we don't. This is a place that is still functioning. That is these so-called modern medicine. I'm not saying that hospital is not good
Hmm.
for some development, but I just wish that they don't use so much of the so-called modern medicine and try to incorporate more of the old uh, format of medicine, which isn't going to give you any side effect, which is going to get rid of exactly what's bothering you, but it'll give you some side effects. And I'm down with that, but it's whatever.
It's
The
true, and,
world we
and
live in.
sadly, yeah, sadly, a good deal of knowledge about the plant lies with the practitioners of traditional spirituality, including voodoo. You see.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah. And you would constantly being told that it's bad. Don't mess with that. And all of that stuff. It's devil worshiping. These people, they look crazy wearing these different color clothing and all that stuff. I mean, some of the times, some of the stuff is a little bit over the edge because we have the true traditional voodoo that was foundly established of old, and then you have that modern surface that kind of muddy the water and sometimes get people confused with what's going on. If these people are crazy or what, and I can understand that, but trust me, it's something when you knowledgeable about it and you understand it and you know how to see through the smoke and mirrors. It's yeah, man.
Mhm.
It's a full system, man.
Mm. Do you know someone who's called Boko? Is it Elmera?
Yeah,
Yeah. And I used to follow him on YouTube. I used to like his videos, but then he started talking sideways about Kemet. And first I addressed him. I made a video, spoke to him in Haitian Creole, to tell him, I'm not against you, but come on, your views. And I think he left a comment to me just to let me know that he's seen it. So it's a short message, but like to show me that no hard feelings. But then
yeah,
he continued to throw salt every now and then. So I start following him, and I think it's a shame really. And
yeah. I think it's Lionel or something like that. Boko Lionel or
yes,
something like that. Yeah.
yes,
So I think he sometime probably live in Miami or something like that. He'd be moving around and what's not. He called himself
mhm,
Boko or something like that. So people like that is the reason for some of the for some distasteful for the unattractiveness of the traditional sacred voodoo, because when you got guys like that who say the things that they say and practice the things that they practice and go about it, it turns people off, man. It's really weird, you know, some weird stuff. But like I said, the traditional voodoo, man, is a simple thing, man. It's a simple thing. None of that weird stuff and get more. You know what I'm saying? Weird stuff, man. So yeah, man, it's pretty straightforward thing, man. Practice abstinence of sexual, avoid liquor, avoid um, arguments and um, cussing.
I'm
Uh,
sorry, I can't really hear you too well now.
oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, now that's
There
good.
goes
Now that's perfect. Now,
okay, yeah. So like I said, the traditional voodoo or the practice of the traditional sacred voodoo, it doesn't deals with all the Tet Mor and Zomor and all the dead people bones and all of that stuff, weird stuff. It doesn't deal with any of that stuff, man. It's just about, you could say, for example, when people are getting ready to do a ceremony or to get in contact or invoking a particular spirit of out of the pantheon, they would then consecrate themselves, purify themselves from abstinence of sex, eating of red flesh, not drinking any alcohol, smoking, or any getting into any vain conversations with anyone or any arguments and cussing and stuff like that. And even my mom was telling me, my mom is Seventh Adventist, by the way, my dad as well. But my mom used to tell me her grandfather, matter of fact, never shed blood into voodoo ceremony. Period. You know. So, like I said, there's a old classic, and then there's the stuff like what you see on YouTube with some of these guys, such as him, like Papa Leonel, whatever his name is, and that stuff weirds people out.
and I mean, there can be differences, variations, but my main thing is when people just discommit, and if they will talk sideways. I'm sorry, hold on. sorry, if they talk sideways, or if they throw salt, or if they just throw jabs at other belief system, I'm like, okay, now that person, has some issues about other stuff, but to just only throw jabs at Kemetic people, I really take issues at that. I mean, I really take issues at that because um, we know the history, and it wasn't Kemet that caused us 1400 years of slavery. See, so
I don't know.
you know,
What's so weird about it is when the person choose to open their mouth and spew out negativity, is that he himself never took the time to do the research. He never took the time to probably open a book to research, search the internet. He never used none of those stuff that are at his disposal to research. And if you research, you could not find yourself to have any negativity or anything negative to say about Kemet or any work such as yourself or anyone else as does that takes their time to educate themselves about ancient Africa. You can't like how like he's just speaking from a place of just pure stupidity.
mm, and but he's not the only one doing that. I mean, Umar Johnson did that, and I think I have the screen print somewhere, but it was like a meme. Denzel Washington from Training Day, and it was like the sentence was like, don't hotel me all day, go and do the work. I'm paraphrasing, but I know he said like, don't hotel me all day, and I'm like, that kind of thing. I mean, I'm not a ruler. I'm not. But as someone who's down with Kemet, I take great issues at that. What I'm saying, because I don't hear him, you know, uh, saying anything about those other belief systems that caused us hundreds of years of slavery. So, but then again, it's a numbers game. They know we are so few, so that's
Yeah,
that's what they like. That's what they like to do, But I'm sure
yeah,
if we bring up that fact I'm talking about, we're disfigured, he's not going to have any criticism to make, but it's
yeah.
all good.
And like I said, it's always coming from a place of stupidity. People who doesn't take the time to educate themselves about what they choose to bash. You know, um, probably is way over their head, and it's easier to just bash it than just to put in the work. So what they do is attack the other people that puts in the work, and
Mhm.
so it's just stupid. You're gonna always have that amongst ourselves, and um, and um, just I think who was the last time when we had a stream? I believe it was like two streams back, or if I could remember, or one stream back. If I could recall, you had this brother. He's a heavy Muslim brother. Is that Asiatic?
Oh, Afroasiatic, yes, he's actually there. I mean, he was there earlier. Yes, Afroasiatic.
He
He's a member of the Nation of Islam.
he usually don't miss your lives. You just be there, man.
Mhm.
And
It's very
um,
regular, yes.
uh, um, come in to bring in the hammer. So that's what that reminds me of. You probably under the comments, right? You probably under the comments, or probably you leave a comment later on or
Oh, he
somewhere in
was
the
there.
live.
He was there. He left 3 comments. You see, that was a
Oh,
while back. But yeah.
okay. So, yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I was going back and forth with him the last time.
Hmm.
But in the comment, I wanted to call so I could really express myself about some of the stuff that he was going on. But the you had the other brother bring the hammer to him. Yeah, I see that. The other brother bring the hammer to him.
Oh,
You
brother
know,
Chris,
Uh,
Anthony
too
Harris.
heavy. He went a little bit too heavy on him, but he bring the hammer to him. So I was like, oh damn.
Mm.
The other day. I love it. You know, I just all love and respect. You know, given our different backgrounds, given where we was brought up, we may have different beliefs, but we all could come into the platform. You know, we could debate and all of that stuff. We could
Yeah.
hear each other out. Full about it at the end of the day. It's all love, man. It's all one of us. It's all love, man. But you know, I
Yeah.
love it. You know, it's all good.
And
But
I like it as well that here really it happened a few times that we just don't share the same views, but it's done in a cordial manner because on some other platform they it escalates to too much,
uh,
and yeah,
man,
mm,
need for that. There's no
yeah,
need for that at all. As long as you have individuality, you're always going to have different opinions and point of views, and that's okay because that's why we're individuals. We're people, different people, and given our different backgrounds, where we were brought up and different under different cultures and education and parenting and different things, it builds our character. We're different peoples with different. So obviously, we're gonna have different opinions, different views of things. It's just a matter of being respectful at the end of the day, and
hmm
give each other's food for thoughts. We can
yeah,
share. Just give each other food for thoughts, something to think about, or to
hmm
debate, and learn and grow. And that's
hmm
and that's the me. There's no need for us to want to tear each other down and
yeah,
bring the axe to try
mm,
to chop each other head. So I love your platform. I've never experienced that in your platform, and you've always been respectful. You allow everyone to talk. You never really blocked out anyone. You never shut anyone down. And I would love your platform to continue the way it is. And and I like to see more conversation, more people calling in, and more people wanna share different thoughts and various aspects of um, African backgrounds of could be cultural, could be political, it could be various ways. But I like to see more of that, you know. So
yes,
yeah, man.
thank you. And I'm like you. I would really love for more people to call in, but it will come over time. It's like yeah,
And
over time it will come.
yeah,
Hello.
and with the
Oh yeah.
consistency, yeah, yeah. Sorry, yeah, with the consistency of your programs and your lives, that would hopefully through signal more people and get more people into the conversation. That we can have more conversations and the debates and so on. And I like to see it grow some more. Something that you can gain something back from it, to help you even financially or however. So I like to see a bit more of that.
Hmm.
Um, you know, so but yeah, but going back, I'm gonna go back to the brother with the whole Islamic thing
Hmm.
and the thing with the Islam thing. I I don't I don't see it no different than the movement with Christianity with the guys with they coming in to say they come to convert savage into up the proper human beings of society, transform society. It's no different because I think there's a credence that you had up with Elijah Muhammad, what he said about the same thing. So it's the same thing that what was quote unquote said by Christopher Columbus, right? And his crusade. And he is a Christian, you know, and the Muslims though, the Arabs, when they went in, coming from east and went in deep into Africa with their Quran and bringing that to the African people that already had their belief system, they already have their cultures, they already have things that they were doing, and they brought that in through force. So it was no different. So why are we holding these things so dearly to us now, and knowing how they come about? You know, through force, through fire and stakes and sword and shields, and yet we know these things, and then we still hold them so dear. Is mind baffling to me. Like, why? It's crazy.
Well, sometimes I wonder, but I feel like black people, more than any other people, puts an extremely high value on the opinions of non-blacks. So when they say that our stuff is not good, pagan heathen, they roll with it. But amazingly, their stuff, their practices is good. So we roll with it, you know.
Yeah,
But some of the black Muslims, they love to say that Islam arrived peacefully in Africa. They love to say that. Or they might say, in the East, there was slavery, but not in West Africa, and we're from West Africa. I mean, they will have all sorts of rationale, but
just to justify their belief, man. It's crazy, man. But but nonetheless,
and
I
I'm
would
sorry,
not accept.
hold on, just have a look there. Afroasiatic just wrote, Islam flowered in Mali, not by sword, not by sword. I mean, obviously, it will be very difficult. They started from the east. It
Yeah,
will be very difficult for them to conquer by the sword all the way from the east to the west. You know what I'm saying? So, since they came up with that system of if you are a Muslim, you don't pay the tax. Well, some people were practical. They're like, I don't want to pay the tax. I'm going to convert. You know?
yeah, yeah. So I see there was also political and strategic moves that were done and get it helped it spread out as well. So it, but it doesn't matter if it's not authentic and original to me. I don't want it. From a different culture, different race. I don't want it. I want what is mine. You know. So it doesn't matter if it arrive in peace or if it arrive with war. Hell with it. I don't want it. Why do I want somebody else's belief and culture and point of view over mine? What the hell? Why do I want that for? Why?
And
You know,
besides,
I don't want that.
it was 1,000 years of slavery, and in many countries, it is still going on to this day. But stay with us, brother Nestle Marat. We have Radio One who's joined us. What's
Awesome,
up, Radio
awesome.
One?
Oh yes, peace. What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm chilling. How about yourself?
Oh, great, great. Yeah, just tuning into the conversation. Yeah, I wanted to ask the brother when he said someone laid a hammer to Afro Asiatic on the last live stream. What hammer is he talking about? Is he talking about the hammer that uh that that debunked his claim about the land of Punt?
Nah, man. No, I was talking about overall, man. Like with the whole thing with the Islam and everything, man. So the whole
Oh,
thing.
okay. Okay. Yeah, because yeah, I had to bring that out last week because he was trying to place the land of Punt in Arabia. So yeah, but yeah, but then and on many of my videos, I debunked that claim a long time ago, that's all said and done with. Anybody who watched my video knows that that the land of the sources show that the land of Punt was in Africa. But yeah, yeah, I'm just listening in for right now. But you can go ahead and finish up your point.
Hey, brother, and by the way, man, I went over to your channel, man. I went over to your first channel. Then I remember you said that you had a new channel, and I went over to that one, and I was watching some of your videos. So yeah, man. So I saw Ben, bro.
Oh yes, man. Yes, it's
Appreciate your
definitely
work
a.
as well, bro.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is a privilege, man, to even have this knowledge, man. Like to even to know it and to teach it as well. And of course, like brothers like Afro-Asiatic and a lot of other Hebrew Israelites and and religious religious fanatics, they're not going to entertain it. The historical, the sources that I entertain, they're not going to entertain it. So their only focus is to get black people to convert to Islam, religious, and that's they don't care about anything else. So that's and that's why it's up to brothers like Shaka teaching the Medu Netter, and myself, I'm teaching about migrations and about the Africans, the Africans of Greek classical history and that in their era, and because they're not going to entertain it, and it's sitting right there, it's in the libraries, it's sitting right there, and nobody and hardly nobody is teaching it because of the biasness and the interference of religion.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, because usually people that oppose those type of research and work, that usually bash, your work, and Brother Shaka's on, is people that you have a firm either religious belief, and they say, man, what is not part of this book, man? You shouldn't be talking about. You shouldn't be talking about it. And their book is history and this and that and all of that stuff. Um, you know, and here in the Bahamas, matter of fact, you mentioned the Hebrew Israelite, man. This movement. So I'm Bahamian. I'm also Haitian. I'm Haitian. I'm living in the
Okay.
Bahamas. So just like Brother Shaka here, he's in France, and I'm in the Bahamas. We both ties in together like that. So yeah, with the Hebrew Israelite, man, this movement is starting to gain some serious traction here in the Bahamas. A lot of these guys are around, man. I see them set up every Saturday in the corner or in the front of food stores and stuff like that, preaching and debating people all from the Bible again.
Oh
You know,
man. Yeah.
still trying to seek liberation and freedom from the same book that was given to us from the people that
Yeah.
came in with fire and sword again. It's crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
man. I see what you're talking about, and it's the same thing here in America. In the ghettos, they come at people who don't know history, and don't care too much for history, but and those are the people they convince, and they convert to their to their I want to say cult or whatever, but I will say those are the people that they convert to their lie. I call it a lie, but yeah, and just like Brother Shaka said, Kemet had nothing to do with our enslavement and oppression, but
No, not at all.
but the thing that had the most to do with our enslavement and oppression is the Bible and Christianity
Yeah,
in Islam, and these people were the enemies of Kemet. You know, the people of the Abrahamic faith. We deal with the biblical Israelites. They were the enemies of Kemet. And yeah, and this thing is deep. And I just and there's definitely a conspiracy going on to take to either get us to live a lie and claim the wrong people in the Bible, or just to take us out the picture, period. But and when I say take us out the picture, saying that we have nothing to do with Kemet or Israel or none of that, and but truth be told, we definitely have nothing to do with Israel, because the Israelites never set foot in West Africa. But there is evidence that we have connection to ancient Kemet, because we can prove that the ancient Egyptians that the ancient Egyptians and during the time of the pharaohs, they went west, and we can prove that they went west. And
Mhm.
I'm saying, if as a matter of fact, when they say they went west, they say they went extreme west. You know, they say they reached the farthest ends of the earth to the west. So I'm saying if the ancient Egyptians saying they went west, you know, and the modern day West Africans saying they have ties to ancient Egypt and ancient Kemet, then you have a match. You know, they saying that they sent people west, and the people in the west of Africa saying that they came from there. So you have a match, just like the people in Ethiopia that migrated to Israel, known as the Phalashas. You know, the Bible says that those people were in the south. They were in Cush. You know, it didn't say how far south. You know, how far south of Egypt in Cush, but they know. But according to the Bible says they went south. They were in the south beyond the rivers of Cush. It didn't say where. All it says is that they were south in Cush, and they went there and they found out those people were the Phalashas, because they did live in Ethiopia, south of Cush, south of Egypt, and therefore they took them to Israel. You know, and we can prove that. You know, and when we deal with West Africa, okay, West Africa and ancient Egypt, the first question you have to ask is, what direction is West Africa from ancient Egypt? And the answer to that question is, West Africa is extreme, or what I say, far southwest of Egypt. So if you go in southwest, northwest, or west of Egypt, it's still the west. You know, all that land is west. It's west of the Nile River. The Nile River is the Nile River is 4,000 miles long. So you go west of the Nile River. Yeah, that's all considered the west. And the ancient Egyptians call that land, they called it the Amenti. The Amenti. So whether if you go southwest, northwest, west, extreme, it's all the west. You know, and according to the ancient Egyptians, you know, that land was their territory. You know, it was their boundary. You know, and you know, and we can prove that. So if we could just prove that the ancient Egyptians went west and they went farther west, you know, then we have a foundation for our claim. You know, unlike the Hebrew Israelites, they don't have a foundation for their claim. You know,
it's great. So it is interesting.
And brothers, let's welcome Afroasiatic. Greetings, brother.
Greetings, brother Shaka. Greetings, Radio One.
Peace, brother. Peace.
Welcome.
Peace to the brother. How you feeling? Yeah.
Chilling. How about yourself?
Good, brother.
Good.
It really is an honor. You know, number one, you write about Shaka, brother, in your assessment. The brother is very balanced. You know, the way that he deals with the platform and the way that he allows different views to come up and be expressed. You know, that's definitely true. And the conversation is always good because, you know, brothers that tend to come around here are actually learned in the information. So, you know, even though there are differences of opinion, you know, I know with Radio One, Shaka, you know, you could tell right away that brothers have actually delved into the information. So that's the most agreeable thing for me, that I know that I'm not dealing with, you know, a bunch of fools that ain't even read up on none of the stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and you know, I definitely feel what Brother Afroasiatic is talking about. You know, in our platforms, you know, it's not that you know, real big, but you know, but I see it as this. You know, if I was ever to get a chance to prove my point, you know, in front of like what can I say, like in front of the highest authorities or whatever, or any major platform, you know, I would definitely come with my A game, you know, because I mean, because that's where like the best scholars are found, man. Like, you know, Sarnetta too, like the people that he bring on this platform, you know, they usually come from smaller platforms, you know, and they come on his platform and, you know, show up and show out, you know, and they end up becoming a member of his platform, you know, and you know, and you know, but on my own platform, you know, you know, that's all I'm interested in is telling the truth. You know, sometimes I freestyle, you know, and I may not sound as sharp as you as you would want me to sound, but still, I'm getting the truth out, and I do the best I can. I try to stay in chronological order, and get the truth out, but if somebody asks me a question, I'm gonna do my best to to give them that answer, and so they can better comprehend what I'm saying, because sometimes you have to you have to give details and explain yourself, so people can comprehend what you're saying, because you just can't, if they giving you a simple question, you can't just give them a simple answer. You gotta you gotta explain your answer, and that's people will better understand it that way. But yeah, definitely, and the truth that I ran into, it's it really um blew my mind, and to realize, what I was told before was all a lie, and there's a lot of people, especially in the Hebrew Israelites, in these groups, there's still people that's been in it for like 30 years or forever, and they still holding on to the lie, and people just now getting into it, and they don't even know it's a lie yet. So it's like people, they already knew that it was a lie, but they never got out, and but they held on to the lie, and it's a shame, and it's like when I try to tell them the truth, because I'm not, don't have 500,000 million subscribers, what I say is not convincing, but I have my own platform, and I have some followers, so people listen to me, and I'm satisfied with that.
Yes, you have to start somewhere. And I remember what brother Nestle Merat said earlier. Those brothers, those Hebrew brothers who speak in the street, they're using the Bible. And our people, that's what we do. We're using theological books as if they were history books. You see? So to prove a book with one book, it's easy to do. If you just go by the premise that whatever's written in this book is divinely inspired or divinely dictated. But when we want evidence of that, it's very poor. We don't have much. And it's the same vicious cycle that we are in, you see? And that is also one of the reasons why they have some disdain for Kemet. In the sense, there's a bit of jealousy in the game. Because when it comes to Kemet, we have the records, we have the data, you see?
Yeah. So okay, go ahead, brother.
Oh, you can go ahead, brother. You can go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to clarify something for brother Asiatic here. Now I am not I wouldn't consider myself a scholar like these two brothers here that puts in the time and the effort, man. They go in deep into the books, into the datas, into a lot of the things that they talk about between my brother here with migration, and Shaka with the meta nature. Now I'm more of the guy that really stands into the African spirituality and the more traditional stuff. Um, so that's what I practice. I make my base of okay. So I may not be as crisp or as you know um, like these two guys here. You know. So yeah. I know you're Muslim, and you know that's that. So saying this so you can get an idea that I'm not trying to be like these guys, but I'm just, I'm totally different.
I mean,
Right,
yeah, I
right.
mean,
Indeed, brother.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
mean
Go,
because
go ahead, brother.
oh yeah, go ahead, brother.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I know, man, like it is, I tell you, man, it is a shame what is going on with our people because, like, like a lot of our people, like, I believe, like some of them, they really don't care about sources and information. They just want to hear something good, something that sounds good, and yeah, and, the truth can be harsh, because a lot of these guys, man, they're well known, and they get a lot of respect, and and they're some of the biggest liars, and they got so much popularity, and and so much maybe made a lot of money off of off of the lies that they told, but I mean, but and that's why when somebody who has the proof to expose their lie, they're going to run, they're going to try to keep, try to stay, hid out, like, they're going to try to hide out for as long as they can, so they won't get exposed for the liar that they are, but and the truth can be harsh, because there's a lot of cases, a lot of instances where, like the leader of a cult is doing so much wrong, and his followers, because they have such a deep love for him, and a respect for him, and they know the truth about what he did, they're afraid to tell the truth because they love him, and they don't want to see anything bad happen to him, and they don't want to see him fall. So, and therefore, they maintain the lie, and but sooner or later, somebody, so sometimes it happens that way, sooner or later somebody come forth and tell the truth, and and that leader, he paid a price for the wrongs that he did, you know I mean, because the truth, man, I mean, that word, man, it's powerful, man. Like, a lot of people can't handle it, the truth. I mean, that's why a lot of guys that say what African Americans and West Africans have nothing to do with Kemet, but that's not the truth. If they were to hear the truth, if they were actually to get, if they were actually to, debate somebody who has the truth on their answer, then you'll probably see them react a whole different way, you know, and it's crazy.
Man, that reminds me. Back then when I was a Seventh Day Adventist, when I was a Christian, and man, but I was always a curious person who was researching, man, and one of my prayers used to be, man, I want to know the truth. I want to be wise like King Solomon, and I would say this prayer often as I could, man. And over time, man, and I came across information and research, and man, the truth was so overpowering, man. I started to refuse it. I started to reject it. Because I was like, man, you telling me all this long, man, this life I've been living was a lie, man. I'm starting to reject it. And at the time, and especially, I wouldn't say black people, but just people in general, when they're comfortable, where they being comfortable, or where they put so much faith and belief into someone, or something, that when the truth arises, they just don't want to let that go, because they're like, what else is beyond that? Because I know what I have now, then what else is beyond that? I don't want to let go. And I think in some way they're looking at, man, this is, the only leader that we have now. What we want to do, we're gonna let him go, man. It doesn't matter, just hold on to it, man, even if they know it's the truth. Just hold on.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And it's like, I don't know. I guess every I want to say decade, or every every couple 10 years or 50 years or whatever, you know, there's always a new form of religion, or you know, of the or some type of religion that has something to do with the Bible or Quran, you know, coming at our people, you know. And you know, I mean, just like, you know, when the Hebrew Israelites started to get out and, you know, and get on the corners and, you know, and tell people about, you know, tell our people about being the 12 tribes of Israel. But you know, they reading from the same Bible, you know, the same Bible that, you know, that the slave master had, you know. And it's like it's the same book, you know. So if you're saying that you're coming with something new, but you're really not, because it's the same book, you know. And
Yeah, man.
No,
yeah, and
I don't. Go ahead.
go
I
ahead,
don't.
go ahead.
Yeah,
I don't
brother.
think.
Want to hear from him.
I don't think. Excuse me, brother. I don't think that it's so much the books that are responsible, but more so the Aryanized interpretation of both books. Even though, you know, we know that the European did tamper heavily, you know, with the Bible, but the construction of the Quran makes it a bit more difficult to tamper with, because it is locked into a mathematical code. It is actually encrypted, so that would make it somewhat more difficult to tamper with. But I don't necessarily blame the paper and the ink in those books. I blame the interpretation of the Aryanized Arab and the European, and their activities under the banner, you know, of these institutions, be it Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. I don't necessarily blame the paper and the ink, because I know the paper and the ink can't do much, you know, alone. They did it, you know. They the ones who did it to us.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, you also have to establish, even if you're going by the Bible, okay, you have to, you know, find out and realize who you are in the Bible, you know. And you know, according to the Bible, we are the Hamites. You know, some people don't believe. So as soon as I say that word, no, Hamites, that's, you know, that's dealing with the Bible. But you know, that's um and regardless if you disagree with the Bible, you know, when the Bible say the Hamites, you know, it's talking about Africans. It's talking about us. So you know, and I'm saying, like, the Hebrew Israelites feel that, you know, in order to get respect, or you know, and be, you know, try to get number one in this, you know, trying to be number one in number one, or should I say first place in this world, you know, they feel that they have to claim to be the Hebrew Israelites. You know, they have to claim the wrong people, you know. But truth be told, you know, actually, if they, now I probably get more respect from other race of people as claiming Kemet. You know, when I wear my aunt, you know, people, when I go out in public and people see my aunt, they always giving me compliments about my aunt, you know, and my RBG flag, you know. And you know, and you know, people still show me their respect, you know, because I'm being myself. You know, so you have to be yourself, and you know, and on top of that, and that's why, like, a lot of people, some people do not respect the Hebrew Israelites, because they're not being their self. They, you know, they want to be somebody else, you know. And and yeah, in some cases, you know, that's why it is important to be yourself. And when you look at the historical reality, you know, and a lot of people are catching on to this, you know, they starting to find out that the Hebrew Israelites, you know, the biblical Hebrew Israelites in the Bible were not even historical, you know. So I mean, you know, now if you
It's
want
a
to say
huge
that,
problem.
yeah, you know, yeah,
Hard
exactly,
to deal with.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so if you want to say that there, you know, there was a tribe called Israel, you know, even though, I mean, that hasn't been proven, really been proven, you know. But even if there was a tribe called Israel, you know, history and archaeology proves that they were not the people that they were described as in the Bible, but they see the people, the should I say the chosen people or the people who actually had an empire, you know, they will see that it was the ancient Egyptians. It was the descendants of Mizraim and the descendants of Ham in the Bible who actually had the civilization, who had an empire, and that's why Black Hebrew Israelites just kept real, and started being they self. They would probably get more respect shown to them, but and if they are getting respect because of the lie they live in, that's respect that they don't deserve, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is, because like a lot of these people, like they hear these claims for the Hebrew Israelites, but they don't know the historical background of them. They don't know anything about the oldest manuscripts of the Bible, and when the Bible was really written. They just all they want to hear is what's in the Bible, and that and they really don't want to hear anything else, and if you try to tell them, they don't want to hear it. They just they would rather go to the grave with their belief,
Yeah, I ain't I'm not one of them. You know what I mean? I use extra biblical sources, in particular genetics. I don't mind being the black sheep and being the one that is somewhat religious or on the spiritual tip. But modern genetics, it pretty much confirms the movement of the populations, and that's just a fact. It's not me. It's the geneticists saying these things, and brothers are going to tend to stray away from it, just like brothers tend to stray away from a multitude of African oral traditions that say that, in fact, many of the tribes do come from the Middle East. If their genetics agrees with this, then what are we to do? Are we to just dismiss it or say, okay, well, I just don't deal with that? Or because as knowledge and information progresses, more and more tools are going to be made available to us for us to uncover and discover, greater truth. Genetics is one of those tools, but brothers are pretty much afraid of it because it demonstrates that many West African tribes, East African tribes, they do in fact come from the Middle East.
Hold up.
I would like to ask you, Brother Afraziadik. You mentioned that the genetic confirms the movements of those population, but when it comes to the Bible, how can we establish the relationship between some population and genetics? How can we do that?
Well, we got to do our research and our homework and begin to really delve into it and identify the people and the cultural markers.
But how do we identify people from the Bible genetically?
Linguistics, philology,
That's not genetics.
archaeology. That gives us that's true, but it gives us indicators. Well, actually, the book of Genesis is the book of genes, so it is genetics.
That's wordplay.
It's not wordplay. Actually,
Yes.
God is very much on point when He begins with the genes. He knew what He was doing. It's just up to us to develop a scientific point of view when we're viewing the scriptures. But that's coming along.
I want to ask this as well because you're very high on genetics. I'm not. I mean, personally, that's my personal opinion. I'm not too crazy about it because the way it can be manipulated and be used against you is my reason for not being on it so high. But my thing is, with mixing between the East, the Deep East, and Africa. So obviously, man, if you have a culture of people, you have a set of people that moved across the line, that come from one place,
and they intermingle with your people. Obviously, if you do DNA tests, you're gonna obviously find traces of these people back to the original sources where they came from, where their great grand or whatever came from. That's obvious, man. So that's not something that can be used as a tangible means of any type of measurement of data to say, bam, we're gonna go with that, and that's what it is. I mean, you then we'll have a lot of that, but is that gonna prove that this is what it is? Not necessarily, but you know, a guy, let's say someone from Russia, have a Somalian wife, and they have kids and whatever, and then you're doing DNA, and then you find they all the way up in Asia from Russia. Yeah, because they made it together doesn't necessarily mean that they come from there necessarily, but they have genes from there because they had a particular parent that mingled with another race. I mean, that's what it's all about. So that
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, brother, but when we actually, that's why, hopefully as we move along and go along, someone else will, enter the discussion that is actually, doing a little delving into the research. I'm not tooting my own horn or anything like that, brother, because I'm a layman in it, but I just happen to read it. And when we actually do read it, it's more than just a touch of contact or something like that. The thesis in the data is that there was a massive back migration out of the Middle East back into Africa. I don't want to
mm,
keep on repeating the same narrative, but it's not just a touch, brother. It's a massive explosion. In fact, the article that really talks about the E markers, they call it a punctuated burst of E markers. So that's an explosion, of E markers. E is everywhere in Africa. It appears, seemingly all at once. It's just everywhere. So where hold no, hold on, Joseph. So everywhere when we look at the Iberian-Mauritians, when we look at the Natufians, when we look at the Khoisan, when we look at even the Bantu expansion. The Bantu expansion, brothers don't know that's an E expansion. Brothers take a lot of credit for that and pride and dignity in it, and we should, but we can't discount the overwhelming genetic material that was amongst the Bantus, which was E, as well as other markers. R1b, I probably sound a little weird, because it's just different uh, letters, but it's actually haplogroups, different tribes of our people. That's just how I look at it, brother.
Yeah. And I also want to say that there's a very strange, um, uh, can I say, a very strange teaching and very strange belief going on within the community, because it's like, okay, now DNA may say that, you know, um, may say that some West African people have Middle Eastern in them. Okay, but how is that DNA distinguished from the Arab Islamic invasion? Okay, if you're saying
I was
that DNA. Oh yeah, yeah,
thinking, uh,
yeah. That's what you were saying.
yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and it's like, how do I mean, that DNA, no matter how far it goes back, how that that's not the DNA of that Arab invader, and it's like, and it's like it can be manipulated so easily due to these most recent migrations that came into Africa, and it's like, the
They
people
make
who
a
say that,
It's a
yeah,
distinction though in the data between those populations, Radio One, respectfully. It's a distinction between those populations. They are able to identify European admixture versus an African or Afro-Asiatic, Afro-Arabian basal. They are able to distinguish the difference. And it's not like it's just the genetic studies, they don't work like just one doctor on the study. You may have maybe 10, 15, 5, 7 different doctors, putting their reputation, on the line when they co-sponsor these different studies. So it's not like it's just one race of individual who's identifying. You may have a Japanese doctor, an Italian, an African, many different ethnicities doing work on the same subject matter.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying, but there are also geneticists saying that are trying are refuting these migrations from Middle East and saying that it was the other way around. That's why you see the same haplogroup from someone in Africa in the Middle East, because they didn't come from the Middle East into Africa. They actually came from Africa into the Middle East, and they were saying that that haplogroup has always been in Africa. So there's a debate going on with that. There's still a debate going on with that, but
that was a too, man. You just go ahead and said everything that I was gonna go ahead and came up with, man. You just kill it, bro. But I was thinking the DNA explosion that he's explaining, but I was thinking the same thing. That could have been from the part of the Islam conquest of into Africa. That could have been that point right there. And as well, if we want to go back to other older science that presented with migration starting from Africa and then spreading out, that goes even further back than all of this, then it would also complement what you just said there, brother. That the genetic that you're seeing back in Africa ever existed in Africa, but it just went deep east and migrated there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that could be the point, because that could be the point, bro. Because according to the science and everything else that the data has been showing in terms of genetic, you seen the African people as being old, bro, really old.
Yes.
Yes.
Very old. Ain't no date, ain't no birth record on black folks. They don't know how long we've been here.
Yeah. So to say, I would to say that it's the reverse way around with that.
Actually,
it's
you're correct, because the whole theory is based on out of Africa theory. The out of Africa theory, either through the Sinai Peninsula or across the Straits of Bab el Mandeb. It's just of lately they have been saying, pointing to the Straits of Bab el Mandeb because of the cultural, the technological complex in South Arabia and Oman, which is the Arabia-Nubia complex. It's basically Nubian type of platelets, arrows, axes, different tools on both sides of the Red Sea, at one spot in Oman, and then as well in Nubia. So that's 100,000 years ago. So Africans were definitely in there, and the data it just supports that. And when I say that they went out and gestated in Arabia, you're exactly right. I agree with you. Those were Africans, and they were African when they came back in. It just happened to gestate for 100,000 or so years in the Arabian Peninsula.
Okay. I mean, I agree. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Respect that.
Yeah, and also like what people seem to overlook and ignore is the most recent migrations that came into West Africa. Okay, say for instance the people who brought Islam into Africa. I have records that show that say that the people of Timbuktu, that Timbuktu was settled by people who migrated from Egypt, the Siwa oases, the oases of Fezzan in that area. And it's like you know, and these were definitely Islamic people, you know, and people love to say that, you know, that we have nothing to do with Egypt and the true Egyptians are the modern Egyptians, or you know, the Sudanese or whatever. But you know, but the people that came into West Africa, you know, who brought Islam into West Africa, how many of them were Egyptians? You know, and how many of them came from Egypt? And you know, and that's like more so you're saying that the modern Egyptians are more Egyptian than the Egyptians before that? I mean, that makes no sense.
Oh,
You know,
me?
I mean,
Oh, hell no. You know I ain't rocking with that,
yeah.
Radio One. Hell no.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. But
Oh, okay.
you know,
All right.
yeah. Yeah. You know, but that's, you know,
Yeah.
that you know, but you know, what's his name? You know, Garfield.
Oh,
He
man.
says that. Yeah, he says, you know, because the modern Egyptians are the descendants of the ancient Egyptians, and he tried to put a twist on the, you know, the haplogroup that is called EM78 or something like that, and you know, and don't even tell people that haplogroup, or that DNA haplogroup only comes from a small group of people in southern Egypt, okay, black Egyptians. But he tries to apply it to all Egyptians, and that haplogroup come from a small group of black Egyptians in southern Egypt. So it's like, you know, you can't say that the modern Egyptians, try to make it seem like as if the modern Egyptians are more Egyptian, when we know good and well that, you know, they are the least Egyptian, because you know, as time went on later, more and more foreigners came into Egypt. You know, like a lot of people that live in Egypt today, their ancestors just got there like maybe 50 years, 100 years ago. You know, even as recent as the Ottoman Turk invasion, a lot of foreigners came into Egypt. So you trying to say that those people are the descendants of the pharaohs and you know, in the ancient Egyptians too? I mean, that makes no sense. I mean, a lot of them came into Egypt like even as later than later than the Europeans coming into America. And it's like, you know, and that makes no sense to say that the whole population in Egypt are the descendants of the ancient Egyptians. Well, we know there were, you know, a flood of foreigners coming into Egypt, you know, over the time span of 2,500 years to 2,000 years to 1,000 years. I mean, and that's why I say you got to know the history of Egypt, because like even most modern Egyptians, they don't know the history of Egypt. I debate a modern Egyptian and they don't, you know, they don't. I mean, they know nothing. You know, it's like, you know, they just know, you know, the Arabic language, and you know, and they know a lot about modern Egypt, you know, and the ways of life and customs of modern Egyptians. You know, they know a lot about that, but they know nothing about the history. You know, and that's why they, you know, and they can adopt their own beliefs that they are the descendants of the pharaohs and the Egyptians, because, you know, because they live in Egypt. You know, and that makes no sense.
That's insulting, and that's very insulting to me, man. When if I were that, if they're thinking like that, that's insulting at best, bro.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because man, the history of Egypt is long and like so full of migrations and foreign invasions. Because it's like because it's like, yeah, the people in Egypt today, it's like they can't. I mean, they can't even lay claim to the Roman Caesars, you know, or the Ptolemaic Egypt, you know, let alone the Egypt of the pharaohs, because even the Ptolemaic Egypt and the Roman Egypt was way after the pharaohs, and like even that Egypt is died off today, you know. Like the Roman Egypt been died off, you know, and even the first Arab invasion, you know, that took place 1,400 years ago, you know, and after that came the Ottoman Turks, and it's like, you know, like which. So if you're claiming to be a descendant of a dynasty in Egypt, so I'm like, which dynasty? You know? I mean, can you trace your lineage back to the Ottoman Turks? Huh?
Egypt was cosmopolitan with Africans, even, you know, multiple different tribes of Africans, you know, were in Egypt and Kemet. It was a cosmopolitan, you know, nation when it got to a certain point.
Yes, I mean because I see it like this. If you're gonna make those claims, you have to you have to ask those questions. Like what? Okay, you're claiming to be a descendant of the ancient Egyptian. Which dynasty? And another question you have to ask who are the descendants of those dynasties today? Like where are the descendants of Cleopatra and the Ptolemaic dynasties? They have no idea. And who are the descendants of the Caesars and the Caesars of Rome who were in Egypt? They have no idea because the history is so old and it's so dead and so passed away. So it's like they really can't claim anything. I mean the only
it transcends everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's man, it's like when you really look at the big picture and you get off into the sources, then you start to ask why, who are the descendants of, okay, like the what's his name, the Muhammad Ali's that ruled Egypt in the 1800s. I read about that. His descendants are not even in Egypt today. I think they're living in Turkey or somewhere. And
Wow.
and like that's one instance where someone can prove that they are a descendant of a ruler in Egypt. But all the rest of these people that's making these claims, they can't do that. It's like they really don't know who they are. All they know is that they live in Egypt. And their ancestors came into Egypt at a certain time period. Way after the pharaohs and way after the Greek and Ptolemy dynasties. And it's like, but you're gonna sit up here and tell African Americans and West Africans that we have no claim to Egypt and we don't know who we are. But we know that our ancestors were the slaves taken from America. We know that we are the descendants of the Ghana, Mali, and Songhai Empire. Because So it's like So it's like because Egypt was invaded way more than than West Africa or in any other part of Africa. The invaders that came into Africa, they had to come to Egypt first, and some of them, they never went beyond Egypt. So yeah, so it's like when you make these claims, you gotta really explain yourself. Like who did you descend from? I mean, because let's be real here. Like if they were to discover the descendant of any, say the descendant of Cleopatra in Egypt today, that person will be on the news. When that person died, they'll put his body in the museum. I mean, so it's like they make these claims and they don't know. They don't know who they are.
And one of the things that you remind me of, we can't forget the French expedition with Napoleon into Egypt and back in those days as well. And usually when they hear African American defending Egypt or Kemet to say, they they tend to look at you stupid, like you don't know any better, because it's like we don't know that we were taken from other places in Africa as well. But we can speak for any parts of Africa where they was taking slaves and where slavery occurred. Period. As a people of Africa,
Yeah.
we
Mm.
we could say these things. We could debate these things. We could lay those claims. You know. But when you do, they look at you like you're stupid. They go, "Oh, no, you're not from Egypt, so don't talk about that." It's like a hush hush, man. Don't talk about that. Why are you talking about that?
Yes. And
And
it's like, and they,
brother,
go ahead, brother.
yeah, sorry. Because it's 1 hour 59 minutes, so we can always continue that conversation another time. So I'm just going to let everybody make their closing remarks. I will go and tackle clockwise actually. I will start with Radio One, then Afraziatic, and then Nestle Merat. So please, brother Radio One, feel free to make your closing remarks.
Oh yes, brother. Yes, it's been a pleasure tuning in. You know, it's always good when someone tune in. That way, you know, the live stream won't go to waste. You know, something. You know, someone tune in and save the live stream. You know, yeah. Yeah. You know, yeah. I mean, you know, all I want to say is, you know, if when people make these claims, you know, make sure you have some type of evidence to back them up. You know, if you're claiming like who you descend from, you know, your foundation, like it may not be as, you know, real old, but you know, try to find the oldest, like the oldest source that proves your foundation, and that way, you know, that proves your claim. That way, you have a foundation to stand on, you know, whenever the time comes, you know, for us to explain ourselves and make these claims, you know, you will have the sources to prove yourself, you know, and and I know, like when these opposers who say that, you know, that this history belongs to us and you ain't got nothing to do with it, you know, I mean, ask them for their source. You know, and 9 times out of 10 they're not going to be able to show it. So if you're saying I'm not a descendant of ancient Kemet or whatever, can you prove that you're a descendant? You know, and you know, but it is what it is. You know, we can prove who we are geographically. We know where we come from, you know, and all we have to do is dig deep back into history, and we can get an ideal of where we come from. But what we don't want to do is tell a lie, you know, and try to claim a people that never set foot in the land where we come from and have nothing to do with us. And that is what's going on today, you know. So I'm just, you know, I'm getting more closer to the truth. You know, I'm staying closer to the truth. You know, I don't want to have nothing to do with the lie. And with that said, you know, say peace out to everyone, and you guys have a great day. All right, peace. Hotep.
Hotep, thank you, Radio One. And Brother Afro-Asiatic, please feel free to make your closing remarks.
Peace to the platform. Peace, Brother Shaka. I would just encourage the family, do your own research, and utilize all tools available, you know, to uncover the truth, family. Peace. Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you, Brother Afro-Asiatic. Now, Brother Neslim Murad, please feel free to make your closing remarks.
Yeah. First of all, you know, I wanna say thank you for being in the same platform, and you know, with you, great men with great mind, you know, who have taken so much time into research and to learn and to share these insights, you know, here on this platform. To whoever wish to listen and learn something and grow from there, you know, this could be like a spark to someone else, you know, to change their life and their way of thinking from the systematic way of growing up and the way we was brought up. So, you know, I wanna say, you know, thank you to you guys. You know, I feel pretty small, you know, compared to you guys here, you gentlemen. And, you know, I wanna say, you know, good evening, good night, however, you know, it's 4:49 now p.m. in the Bahamas. I'm not sure what time it is for you, Shaka, at Paris right now. Probably in the night, early in the morning. Yeah.
It's actually 10:47 p.m. So like a quarter to 11 p.m.
Yeah, it's about your bedtime. Your wife is probably waiting for you with the kids.
Oh, they're both sleeping now.
Oh, okay, they're sleeping. So it's time for you to join them, brother. And thank you for having me. Thank you guys. Thank you, Afro Asiatic. Thank you, brother here. Thank you, Radio One, for being on, brother, and for this great conversation. So thank you, guys.
Pleasure, brother. Pleasure.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, brothers. Thank you for calling in. I really appreciate it because indeed, like Radio One said, you know, the live stream was saved. You know, most of the time when people don't call, then I'll bring to the end. But we have actually one more caller. So even though I was about to end it, I might as well give him a chance to speak. He's called Osar MK. So I'm going to put you on. Osar MK, welcome.
Imitap Seni Aquas the Jet, Uncle Jasaneb, Dua Henu for letting me in the building this evening on the build. I didn't know y'all was about to end it. I'd have just sat out. I'm sorry.
No, it's no problem. You don't hit us with some strong middle nature, like I heard Dua Hotep Seni, like my brother, but I did not catch it all. Like I wasn't expecting it.
Let's break it down. Let's break it down. Imitap, greetings and peace. Seni, because his brother's on here. Senu, but y'all not doctors. Seni. So we what I said, Unc watch the Jed life. So my drink is killing me right now. Unc watch the Jed. Thank you, family. Do I hear me? We're in it here. Goodness.
Where are you calling from, brother?
I'm in Colorado right now. I'm in the States.
Colorado. All right. Okay,
I'm
brother.
over here in the States.
All right.
All right.
My brothers start breaking down that metal nature. I got to give y'all a call. I got to listen in. We stay in tune until we start to speak it. And so that it does what Hebrew did and what Greek did, because both of those were dead languages. We just need to start speaking it again. That's all.
For real,
Jed Medu.
The Jed Medu, that's right.
We need to say those words.
Of the tongue.
Well, it's very good to hear all that. And I hope that you'll be able to join us during the other live streams. I don't know if you subscribe to the channel, but it might be worth it to subscribe and to hit the notification bell, so this way you will be informed. And maybe the easiest way is to follow me on Twitter, because whenever I go live, then I share it on Twitter. Because sometimes, even though people have subscribed to my channel, and even if they hit that notification bell, then sometimes they're not notified. I mean, I have like 18,500 subscribers, so it's understandable that the server of YouTube might not reach every single subscribers, and it happens with other channels as well. Sometimes people say, well, I was not even notified, but on Twitter most likely nobody will miss any links whenever I share the live stream. So dua for these kind words, or medu, and hopefully we'll be able to talk longer next time, brother.
To you.
To you, yes. Yeah, the brother knows some medu. That's good. So, brothers and sisters, thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to by the Necheru, I would definitely holler back at you. Hotep. Now, for the record, for those who don't know,
Hi, brother. I'm out.
I'm giving Medu Nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.